Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen Healthy Fine Dining Series. I'm your host, Nicole Gaffney, and we're here today with the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau, as well as St. Luke's University Health Network, where we're bringing together doctors and chefs to create healthy new menu options to be featured at their restaurants. Joining me in the kitchen today is Chef Matt Bickart of Kartrites Summit House, as well as Dr. Richard Boulay.
How are you?
Welcome, both of you. Thanks for being in the kitchen with me today. What are we making?
We're going to make chicken chili today.
Yum. Perfect for this time of year, cooler weather. It sounds great, so let's get started.
All right.
So this is ground chicken?
Yeah, it's ground chicken. So we're just going to get the pan a little bit warm before we put it in and add a little bit of oil just to help it not stick to the pan.
Because the ground chicken really doesn't have much fat going on.
That's
in
true.
there.
It doesn't have a whole lot of fat in it. It's very important to put a little bit of oil in just to help it not stick, and it will help it brown up nicely.
Perfect. All right, so will you work on the chicken? Time to talk to the doc.
Okay.
Tell me about what your specialty is at St. Luke's.
So I am a gynecologic oncologist. I am a surgeon and medical oncologist that specifically is trained in taking care of women's cancers like ovarian cancer, cervix cancer, uterine cancer.
Great. What made you want to go into that field?
I think it chose me.
Okay.
It's interesting when you're making these choices. My daughter's now in medical school and going into a general surgery specialty. And for me, and I'm like saying, what did I do? I raised a general surgeon. But with me, it was really the specialty that chose me. The patients that we get to take care of, because we take care of them longitudinally over time for a very long period of time, they're incredibly inspirational and just wonderful people to work with.
That's great. Now, you also have a very personal connection to this as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer. I was in my early teens, and that was a time when we really didn't talk about cancer. You know, the word was whispered.
Very taboo.
Exactly, exactly. And not only that, because of that, we really didn't learn much about each other. We didn't learn about the diseases.
Right.
And as we went along and grew, I became a GYN oncologist. I found 25 years later, we still had the same issues. So it's really become a personal passion of mine to sort of open up, give people new language. I write a lot, I perform, and so on and so forth, to help people better understand what cancer means for them. Nowadays, I mean, cure rates are improving year by year by year.
Yes.
We're just doing so much better. People are living longer, they're living better, they're cured more. So it's so important to start to have these conversations now so we can keep that education going.
I love that. And you're obviously so passionate about what you do, which is incredible. And you're passionate as well about being a chef and cooking. So tell me what you're doing with the chicken.
Well, right now it's just starting to cook on the bottom of the pan.
Okay, so you're just looking to kind of brown it.
We're going to brown it up a little bit and cook it all the way through.
Is there any trick to this, or anything you want to make sure you do?
Well, you want to make sure you cook it thoroughly all the way through, of course. But the key here is just to make sure that you have enough space in the pan to spread it out a little bit as you go.
Okay.
And you can see that it's starting to cook through.
No, are you trying to break it up as well, so you get those like little pieces?
Yeah.
Instead of making one big chicken burger.
Yeah, exactly. In the beginning, it's a little difficult because it's ground chicken, so
it kind of
sticks together on itself. But as it starts to cook, you'll be able to break it up a little bit better.
Where do you get ground chicken? Do you grind it in house?
You can if you want to, but you can get it in the supermarket, just like ground beef or ground pork or anything else.
And this is a lot. What is this, like a good 2-3 pounds?
This is about 1.5 pounds.
Okay, it's not too much.
Yeah.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen.
So when you're making this at home, you can always get, a pound or two from the grocery store. And depending on how many people you're feeding, if you need a little bit more, if you're feeding an army, you can buy some more.
And chili is a great thing to serve to an army.
Yeah. Now, and especially too in the winter. It's a great dish to have something
football.
Right. And you come in from the cold, if you're out on a long day or you're snowing, it's a good thing to eat.
Now, I notice you haven't added any salt or pepper at this step. Is that intentional?
Yes.
Okay, why is that?
Well, because while I'm cooking this, it's chicken is a very lean meat. It doesn't have a whole lot of fat to it, so you want to put the oil into the pan to help it not stick. But also at the same time, I'm going to, once it's cooked, I'm going to strain off any of the excess oil or fats that are in it.
Okay.
Because we're trying to eat healthy.
That's right.
And then I'm going to season it when I put it into the pot with the rest of the ingredients.
Okay, great. Why don't you tell me a bit about Kartrites?
So Kartrites Summit House is located at the top of Camelback Mountain, and it is the highest restaurant in the Poconos.
Wow.
The view is incredible from the top.
I bet.
You can see pretty much all of the Poconos. It's really incredible.
Wow.
It's a beautiful restaurant.
Awesome. Well, to tell us a little bit more about Camelback is Alyssa Poster. Hi, welcome.
Thanks for having me today.
Of course, it's great to have you here with us. So tell me what's happening at the Camelback Mountains right now.
There's so much happening. So Kartrites Summit House is a huge addition, especially because it's going to be open to skiers and riders.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new experience for people on the mountain. They literally can unclip out of their bindings, walk into this beautiful restaurant, and I hear this winter they're going to have a large selection of whiskey at their bar.
Very
so
nice.
that's super exciting.
Yes.
The view with the snow and the lights at night and being able to see people down the mountain, it's just phenomenal.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then additionally, we at the mountain itself, for skiers and riders, we created 15 new acres of beginner terrain. So for a lot more of the beginners who are coming out.
So good for me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a whole new area on the mountain they can try out. And then for our more expert skiers and riders, we have a new top to bottom terrain park.
Oh boy.
So those will be jumps and rails
yeah.
and yeah.
That's the area I need to steer clear of.
Yeah. So, you know, we're really creating an experience that families won't forget. As you know, we have Camelback Lodge.
Yeah.
So that has the indoor water park Aquatopia. And we always like to say it's always 84 degrees and fun inside Aquatopia. Yeah.
That's a little more my speed than the slopes.
Yeah, so families get the opportunity to go inside the water park, splash, laugh, and play, and then they can hit the slopes and come back to the water park to warm up again. So
Yeah.
it's super exciting.
And then have a great dinner at Kartrites as well.
And you have the tubing too for families
Yes.
too. Our family went there. It's so much fun.
So it's not just tubing. It's we like to say it's lit at night because it is galactic snow tubing at
Oh,
night.
how cool.
So all the lanes light up and we have some music playing in the background and it's really an experience that's out of this world.
Oh, that's so much fun. It sounds like you have really incredible stuff going on at the
Yeah.
Camelback Mountain. I can't wait to come.
We can't wait to have you.
All right, so you're going to join us back in a little bit for the tasting?
Yes.
All right, we'll see you there.
Awesome.
Thanks, Alyssa. All right, so it looks like you've come a long way with the chicken.
Yeah, so it's almost there. Probably about 3/4 of the way there. We're
Okay.
just going to finish cooking it off. It's almost close. All right, now while this is happening, we're going to put this pot here.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of oil in here, and we're going to start to sweat our onion to begin the base of our chili.
All right, great.
And you just got to get a little, you don't want to, we're not trying to caramelize it or anything, we're just trying to
Sweat it out a little bit.
sweat it out a little bit.
Okay. Now, Doc, do you advise your patients on diet at all?
It's something that I think most doctors are really bad at. And what we do know, at least in cancer survivorship, what the data tells us is that folks that have had a cancer do far better if they eat well and if they exercise after. Their cure rates are actually higher.
Wow.
So we're beginning kind of a new specialty called survivorship, where we're helping to inform patients on some new data on how to keep their living
Right.
well and
Right.
extend their life expectancy.
But just
Yeah.
because a patient's gone into remission doesn't necessarily mean they're going to stay there.
Well, yeah, we hope it is, and if we can find, if they do come out and we find it early, we have multiple treatment options for them as well.
Right.
But if they can do, and they're always willing to do something
Yeah,
more, you know,
of
if they
course.
can, and if it's simply healthy eating and exercise, you know, that's something we all should be doing.
Absolutely. It sounds simple enough. I guess a little bit easier said than done. But,
Exactly.
but what types of foods do you typically recommend that your patients stick towards?
So exactly what we're preparing here, things that are have good protein content and that are lower in fat.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of vegetables, which
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
plenty
Yeah,
of here.
exactly.
So, okay, great.
So well balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen. So we have some onions sweating out, and I see you also have some bell pepper, corn, and tomatoes.
You want to add the bell pepper to that?
Sure. Here, Doc, I'm going to let you do the honors. No.
See, I was up all night preparing
I
this.
can see that. Now, do you like to cook?
I can rock a peanut butter and jelly like nobody else.
And I hear you make a pretty mean Mickey Mouse pancake.
Mickey
too.
Mouse
Yeah.
pancakes are my specialty, but they only exist on Saturday morning.
Well, there's no other time to eat a Mickey Mouse
Exactly.
pancake as far as I'm concerned.
All right. We're almost there with the chicken.
It's looking pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Do we need to give this a stir or anything?
Yeah, sure. You want to give it a stir?
All right. I'm gonna wreck the place in the meantime.
The colors of the food are just amazingly beautiful.
It really it makes a difference, I think, to eat something that has so much color in it.
Yeah.
It makes you feel
Well, you know, I think that's an old saying that you eat with your eyes first,
definitely,
right?
definitely. And I've heard a lot of doctors recommend that you eat the rainbow. Eat a
Yeah.
little something with a
Exactly,
little
yeah.
bit of a different color in
Yeah.
it, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the micronutrients and all the different foods with different
Definitely.
colors are all
Yeah,
different, so that's
yeah.
where that comes from.
All right. We are building these flavors in the pot right here, right? So, start with your onions, you sweat them down a little bit. You add your peppers. You just want to get the peppers soft.
Okay. Same with the onions.
Same with the onions,
Right.
yep. The onions usually take a little bit longer. The peppers will also break down a little bit more as we add everything else to it, so
Right.
you don't need to go too long with them.
There's a lot of different ways that you can make chili. I think everyone kind of has
Yeah,
their own
there is a
little
lot of different ways to make chili, absolutely.
signature spice or method that
That's
they
right.
use. Do you have any secrets?
I personally, for me, I like to do cumin, chili powder, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, a little salt and pepper. You don't really need to go too heavy on spices if
Right.
you don't. Most people don't like a whole lot of spice.
Yeah,
If you know, if there's too many things going on, you kind of lose all the flavor of
Definitely.
everything that you started with.
so just keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple.
That's great.
Did you ever put cocoa in beef chili?
I've heard this before.
I have not, but I've heard of that.
Yeah.
It's crazy good.
I'll have to try that. That sounds
No
really good.
marshmallows, just
marshmallows?
just the cocoa.
Yeah.
I'm sure my son would love cocoa and chili.
And in Cincinnati, they're known for adding cinnamon to
Mm-hmm.
it, which is
Yeah,
a little
that's
bit
really
strange, but also pretty tasty. So, Doc, tell me
Sounds
why you
good.
like to be part of St. Luke's Network.
It is just thrilling to be there. I just find that everything is easy and
Yeah.
everybody is happy and willing to work together
Right.
to get the best outcomes for our patients. And it's just so simple to process things through and get along with everyone. It's just a joy.
So it allows
Every day.
you to really focus on what you do best and not
Exactly.
have to worry about all the other stuff.
Exactly. It's a
great.
great crew. It's a
Yeah,
great crew.
that's awesome.
All right.
Smells really good in here, I can
Just
tell you that
about
much.
there. All right,
Nothing like
so now we're
salted
going to add
onions.
the tomatoes and the corn.
Okay. You want to add that in?
Sure. So we can use fingers?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, see, we don't do that in
We're
the
not
OR.
serving in a restaurant.
Well, in the operating
Right,
room, that's
no,
kind of
definitely
frowned upon too, yeah.
It's all right. In the kitchen,
In the kitchen, it's okay.
we'll let it pass.
All right. Yeah, we'll give it a stir. And then what's going to happen is the tomatoes are going to start to break down a little bit and release some of their liquid.
Okay.
And that's going to help to make the base for the chili.
Perfect. Well, will you guys work on that? I'm going to bring in Brian Bossuyt from the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on our show again.
Thanks for having me back.
So what's happening in the Poconos these days? Tell
Well,
me
right now,
about
it's we're going into the winter season, and you know, as Alyssa had mentioned, you know, Camelback's open. Our other 5 ski resorts in the Pocono Mountains are open right now, so we have a lot of skiing going on and snow
Definitely.
tubing. So getting ready for the holidays and going into the winter season. We're hoping to have a nice, cold, snowy winter,
Yeah.
and that's always helpful for us.
Definitely. But if not, then you've got the water
Alright.
parks
Yeah.
and all the
That's
indoor
right.
activities.
Yeah, we have 4 indoor water parks,
You're just cooking
and you
till
know
things
they're
gone.
weather protected.
Yeah.
Some of them offer day tickets, some of
Just
them are
about
included
there.
in your overnight stay, so they're all different. Then we have other activities going on. You know, we have the trains in Jim Thorpe and Honesdale. We have all kinds of other things with outdoor activities, hiking. Some of the zip lines are still open.
Yeah.
A lot of other things that you can do, like go to the movies, indoor rock climbing. So we have a lot going on.
You really do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to chat with you again during the tasting along with Alyssa. We'll see you back here.
All right, thank
All right.
you.
Thanks, Brian.
That is wonderful. All right, so this is the point where I like to season.
Okay.
Once I've got all the vegetables in, they're slowly sweating their way down, a little salt and pepper. And then we're going to add our
Come
chicken.
in a little closer, Doc.
Okay.
Add our chicken to that.
Now, could you do that all in the same pot if you wanted to? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're pressed for time, and let's just say that you have a busy schedule, like
As you do.
or you're a
Or you're a
doctor. You could put all this in a crock pot and it would work the same way.
Nice. That's a really great tip.
You
Or
just-
we could come see you.
Yeah.
Or you could come to
Or
me
you can
too,
come
yeah.
to the mountain. Now, being up so high because you are the highest restaurant on the mountain, do you find it's different cooking with that higher altitude?
Not really. That's high altitude cooking is more of if you're up over a mile.
Really high altitude.
Yeah, really high altitude and baking too.
Yeah.
It's a logistical challenge though, that's for sure.
Yeah, just getting to work.
Right, just getting to work every day.
Hi, this is Brian Bossuyt from the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau. Today we're going to talk about skiing and snowboarding in the Pocono Mountains. We have 6 great ski resorts that are very beginner friendly, but they also have very challenging terrain for the experts and the intermediate skiers and snowboarders. We've really embraced learning to teach people how to ski or snowboard in a correct manner. We've really become the feeder market for the ski industry throughout the country and the world. And the other nice thing about it is we've really invited families to come learn together, and then most of the resorts now have wonderful restaurants that at the end of the day they can all have a great meal together and then go stay at one of our family-friendly resorts.
We now return to the chef's kitchen.
All right, so we're gonna add our spices,
Okay.
cumin and chili powder. All right. Thank you.
Now you can really
Now it
smell those
smells like
spices.
chili,
Yes,
doesn't
it
it?
does. For
Yeah,
sure.
and you can smell the spices. Now, I didn't add the stock yet because what we're
Okay.
doing is we're building the flavor and we want to toast the spices a little bit because I started with a little bit of oil in here, but not too much. And it's just to keep everything from sticking. But now that we've added the spices, it's going to stick to the chicken and all the vegetables that we have in there.
And how long will this take to really cook down?
Typically, it'll take about maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes.
Okay.
If you put it in a pot and you really want to let it build all the flavors.
Right.
But this is something that's very simple and easy, and you can make it home, and it doesn't take a whole lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've toasted our spices. They've stuck to the chicken and all the vegetables, right? So we're pretty much there. So we're going to add our beans.
And these are like a cannellini bean?
Yeah, that's cannellini
Okay.
beans, yep. And you can do it with pretty much any bean. I mean, if you wanted to do red kidney beans
Right.
or
More traditional, I guess.
take your pick.
Yeah, but this is great. You're doing sort of like a white chicken chili.
Yeah,
all
it's like
around.
white chicken chili. Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
All right, and we put our beans in there, and then we're going to add our chicken stock. Now you could use vegetable stock if you wanted to. I chose chicken stock because
You've already got the
we're
chicken in
using
there.
the chicken. Exactly, we're already there. And then you're just going to let this come up to a simmer. And once everything will be all married together, and it will be wonderful. And then we're going to garnish with scallions, and I'll add the cilantro at the last second and stir it in.
Great.
Now, it's important to remember that when you put fresh herbs into chili or something like that, you want to put them in right at the very end,
Right.
so that you don't overcook them and
You just lose that
you
flavor
lose all the
altogether.
flavor. Yeah, exactly.
Great. Well, this looks awesome. Now, do you garnish with cheese or sour cream or anything?
If you
a
want
little
to,
more
yeah.
indulgent?
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, you can garnish with cheese or sour cream or
Right.
something like that. But you know, in the interest
Keeping it
of
light today.
staying healthy and keeping it light, yeah.
Yeah. Now, is this on the menu
It
at
is.
Kartrites?
It is on the
Perfect.
menu, yes.
So anyone who sees the show today can go right over to
Yeah,
Camelback
absolutely.
Mountain and have a nice big bowl of this chili.
Yeah, definitely.
Warm up after going
After a
down the
day on the
slopes.
slopes, yeah.
Yeah. It ties right in with what we're doing. Perfect.
Yeah, it'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
So we're
Smells
just
great.
about ready here.
All right, let me go grab the bowl so we can plate this up.
All right, so I'm going to add the cilantro.
So like you said, right at the end, so
Right
you
at
really
the
retain
end.
that flavor.
Yep.
Now, if someone didn't like cilantro,
If you don't like cilantro, you could use parsley. You could
Yeah.
use, I mean, really whatever herbs that you want to put into it
Okay.
is fine.
so you could just put in anything else that you like. Nice.
Yeah, the cilantro really goes well with chili, though.
I love
mean,
cilantro personally, but I know a
like
lot of
cilantro.
people that don't.
Yeah, so if you don't want to use cilantro, you can use something else. It's personal preference at this point.
All right.
This looks wonderful. All right. Can you just grab me a serving spoon?
Sure.
Or maybe a ladle. And you definitely want to use a towel if
I'll
you're
hold this
picking
for
it
you.
up. Well, that's right. I'll put it
Yep,
down right
okay.
here. Yeah, that's okay.
really does smell good.
It does smell wonderful.
And this is something you can make at home. It's pretty easy. And if, like I said before, if you want to make it in a crock pot, if you're pressed for time,
Definitely.
you can absolutely do that.
This could really, I mean, you did this pretty quickly, but this could sit and simmer on the stove all day if you wanted it to,
yeah,
right?
absolutely, yeah.
It's not going to hurt it.
No, it's not going to hurt. Yeah.
Great.
All right, and a little scallion for garnish.
It's so nice and light and healthy, but it's still comfort food, which I love.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, if you, and I feel like that's probably a great thing for most people, is that if you can make
Absolutely.
really healthy comfort food, you're going to be happy every time.
Right. If you feel good eating it, and it makes you feel good from all those vegetables in
Yep.
there, nothing wrong with that. Time to dig in.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
You
you.
guys
Thank you.
get right up in there.
Thank you so
Doc.
much.
Right.
Go ahead.
Come on.
All right.
Don't make me the only one eating.
Okay, okay.
It smells awesome.
There's so much flavor happening in there.
I agree.
I'm one of those people who like put so much cheese and sour cream on my chili. This doesn't need it. It really
Yeah.
doesn't. It's so simple but so flavorful.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's a light, healthy version of chicken chili.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And the veggies are still crunchy. It's
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Thank
It's so
you.
tasty.
Nice
What
texture.
better to have on a day at the mountain at Camelback in the Poconos? A
Yeah,
nice
warm
big
you
bowl
right
of
up.
Chicken chili.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And it's healthy. So, St. Luke's, it's always a pleasure having you doctors
you for
on.
having me.
Chef, it was wonderful
Thank you.
working with you. And the Poconos, Camelback, we love you guys
you.
so much. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. The experience was great on Chef's Kitchen. I'm glad I got to do it.
Chef's Kitchen was so much fun. You know, I'm not a chef, I'm not a cook, I can barely make a peanut butter and jelly. So this was both informative and really fun for me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.